Good evening. My name is Nick Bala, and I'm here with Tyler Walls, Fatima Rizai, and Morgana Falabella, and we are here representing Otania from World 2. And I'm the Prime Minister, and we really laid out our agenda today with our mission in mind. Together, we make hopes possible. And really the essence of our mission was to provide the general welfare for immigrants coming into our nation, and to really make sure that they had their basic necessities cared for, so they can contribute to the society and really improve their quality of life, since their home is not a place that they're able to be anymore. And so we're aiming to nurture positive relationships with our neighbors and to advocate for human rights. As one of the wealthiest and strongest economies in the world, we want to make sure that others were living up to the standard that we believe was ethical and humanitarian.
So in terms of the communication strategies, we sent a message in the first round, in the first year that we started, with encouraging all our citizens to participate in a volunteer campaign, because we had a high discord rate to begin with, and although we have the largest population and also aging population, and we needed more of a labor resources to come in, but our citizens were not very welcoming. So we wanted to encourage them to participate and improve their view of the government and our policies, as well as their relationship with the newcomers to the country. And then by the last year, we started a new campaign that was the We Can Do It, in order to boost that motivation. And we already had the volunteers in the workforce, so we wanted them to just like get that unity together again and work with the newcomers. In terms of the GDP growth, which was one of our most important objectives in the first year, because we started with a very good GDP, and we wanted to continue growing it, especially because that was one of the main objectives of our citizens as well. So we ended up with a good growth. It was over the years with our GDP, especially because we provided loans to our newcomers to start businesses and provide more employment. And also one of the reasons that we wanted them to be employed is because that would facilitate better integration in the society and improve their self-sufficiency, and giving them a way of have dignity and don't take it from them, because they already have lost so much of what they already had in their country. So we wanted them to come in and feel supported to start a new life. Our employment definitely increased over the year. It's a hybrid graph, but still it has a positive growth over the years.
Yeah, with this idea of empowering the newcomers, we had always in mind that these people were coming from disturbing situations, which involved violence, torture, family segregation. So we didn't want to compromise this new life with dignity, helping them to acculturate in our culture. We settled them, and we're settling them in a good housing conditions, and not leaving them in camps or places that wouldn't help them to improve their quality of life. So we open our borders, and we help the asylum process to be as quickly as possible. We give them house assistance, the health care, the top assistance that we could give. The education and language training was our top worries, because we thought that empowering them, they could be self-sufficient and they could contribute to our country. So we could decrease the discord rate, and we could, over time, increase our favorability too.
So I was the ATG president, and our big objective was to get the migrants, or at least our mindset was to get the migrant influx to come up to Otania, because we had a labor shortage. So a lot of what we did, as I did as the ATG, was to facilitate that process. So one of the objectives we did was we try to get it so that each country, the standard was try to get them through processing quickly in ERM so they can make their way up. The rest of the stuff, economically and everything like that, we had no recommendations. As a group, we decided that. Basically, we didn't want to economically hinder any group or any other member nation. We did push for healthcare later on, but we quickly rescinded that as it was causing problems. And a lot of what we did, we didn't really dig into the ATG fund. We gave out foreign aid, I guess we can call it, to different member countries, mainly ERM and DURIT. And DURIT was to help facilitate their economic struggles because they were our neighbor and we didn't want to have an economic problem there and then those migrants from their countries would come in because we were starting to have some issues as well. So.
And moving forward, we're really wanting to take another look at our policy implementation strategy and really ask ourselves, is what we're doing working? And really wanting to take an evaluation, take a step back and see how well we are doing. Because we believe what we know what's best for our people, but really the data is the answer. And so in the years to come, we really want to hone back and say, make the changes that clearly the data is showing we need to make. And alongside that, we want to work with our nonprofit partners and local and state governments to really make sure that our policies we're going for are really doing the best for our current and our new residents.
Great. So I'm going to reset. We're going to give you 3 minutes for Q&A. I'm going to defer to the judges first for a question.
I want to ask what your biggest surprise of the day was.
Foreign aid could hurt you. You think you have a lot of money. You think you have a lot of money to give, and you want to give both for humanitarian reasons and actually selfish reasons. And I think I can go a little bit to that. But we're giving aid to countries to help not lower the standards, but make it easier for them to come through. And we were trying to bargain with that so we can get the migrants to come up. And
Since we started with a very large budget, we started with $2 billion, but we ended with debt. But we were confident and accepted the debt because we saw it as a long-term investment in our country because we are bringing people, we are bringing new resources. So we were good with the debt, we were fine with it. But the problem was that we are trying to support other countries at the same time because it was expected of us as the largest economy and also largest nation in the area. Then we figured that it was a little bit hard to balance.
Yeah.
Yes.
And alongside of that too, being geographically the furthest away from where the immigrant population is coming from, we had a delayed impact in all of our policies. So everything we did year one, oh look, it doesn't cost us anything. But 3 years down the road, now we're seeing the impact of our policies.
And we had pretty progressive policies, and we did it that way with no recommendations, hoping that if the other countries didn't have high so as an ATG, if we didn't have high recommendations, the other countries who weren't economically as better off as us, would have not as good services, and hopefully if we had better services, they would come up to us where we needed their workforce.
Any other questions? Any room for one more, maybe?